October the 24th, 2021. You're looking at the National Weather Service map, and you can see the yellow area that stretches from Oklahoma, goes up through Illinois. And in the center of that, we've got tornado warnings. And so if I'm going to show you a little more about that, but the video is a little longer than this because I'm going to talk about the West Coast storms that are moving in. But this is part of that, what they're calling a parade of storms. And guys, this could be serious right now because we're getting into the time to where you got a lot of cooler weather moving in with warm, moist air. But you can see across the country, you've got winter storm warnings, you got tornado warnings, there's gale warnings, you got winter weather advisories, frost warnings, and that's all behind this series of storms. But what's coming off the West Coast, guys, could bring over a foot of rain in some areas very quickly, and possibly up to 8 feet of snow with 100-mile-per-hour winds in the northern mountains. But again, let's take a look at where these tornadoes are at. And so go ahead and take whatever precautions you need to. You can come back and watch the rest of the video earlier. But notice where Centerville is, headed up towards Farmington. Right there, and these are live as we're looking at this at 8:08 p.m. Central Time. But the entire area has severe thunderstorm warnings and watches that could turn into a tornado at any time because there's a very large area that's involved. Now, on the West Coast, you got to deal with the problems with the blessing of much-needed rain. And this is if it was in the Gulf or in the Atlantic, South Atlantic, we would be calling it a pretty major hurricane because it's so low in the millibars of pressure. And you can see that you got Washington, Oregon, Canada, and it's moving over through Utah in that area. But we've looked at the drought all year with all the Tahoe, the other lakes, Lake Mead and all, needing some rain very badly. Now, this is going to cause a lot of other problems because you've got so many burnt areas in California and other places all the way up, all the way across the western side of the nation, really, that are going to this is going to cause landslides and rockfalls. I'm already seeing images from AccuWeather and other sources about major highways being blocked now because of large boulders in these landslides, a lot of it again in the burnt over areas. Here, a little closer look at California. You can see where San Francisco is in the very center. And even though the rotation is further north, it's pulling the moisture in here. Again, you got to count your blessings with your curses. Travel is going to be very ill-advised right now. I'm going to get, again, a lot of snow, possibly 8 feet, 100-mile-per-hour winds in the northern elevations, the Sierras, things like that. And if we back up and look at the nation, you can see in the very center in the orange clouds, and the ones coming below that, coming out of Oklahoma and Arkansas, where these tornadoes are coming up. So we're seeing what they're calling a parade of West Coast storms. Now, guys on the East Coast, from the New York area, and I'll watch for the rest of the week as these storms kind of merge right offshore. They're going to bring you a lot of problems. But again, look at the moisture coming in California. It's going to be major problems for a few days. High winds, there's going to be power lines down, and I think there already are some. Some areas are already suffering major power outages. But this type of wind with the unstable soil is just going to create more and more problems. Tune into your local weather radio channel or your local TV channel if you're in the center of the nation in the tornado watch area. It's going to be very important. Guys on the West Coast, keep an eye on your news. Keep an eye on all the weather alerts because there's going to be road closures. There already are. I saw pictures late this evening before dark of major highways in the mountains with rocks, big rocks blocking the highways. Flooding is going to be a very bad problem. And then the high impact of possibly 8 foot of snow is going to shut down a lot of roads. As it melts, maybe that will become the blessing. But there's going to be a lot of suffering going on as far as, again, the landslides, the flooding, and the road closures. But we're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.